You've got ambitions, grand visions. Dreams so big they probably need their own postcode. You want to succeed, to live that life you've been meticulously crafting in your head since you first encountered an aspirational Instagram reel. But there's a snag, isn't there? A rather inconvenient, fluffy, often Netflix binging snag. Let's just call it strategically resting. Or, to be less diplomatic, you're flat out lazy. You know exactly what needs to be done. The spreadsheet that needs filling, the email that requires a response, the workout gear that's been silently judging you from the corner of the room. Yet, day after day, you don't do it. You procrastinate, you miss opportunities, and then, with the precision of a seasoned self-saboteur, you berate yourself for not taking action. Deep down, a persistent little voice whispers, or sometimes shouts, that you're capable of so much more. But instead of heeding that internal motivational speaker, you just keep going. Or more accurately, you keep not going. The guilt, a loyal companion, grows steadily over time. Day after day, week after week, it starts to feel less like a temporary guest and more like a permanent resident in your mental landscape. Eventually, you might even start to accept it, perhaps even embrace it, as an integral part of your charmingly flawed personality. Oh, that's just me, you'll sigh, shrugging off another missed deadline with a practiced ease that borders on artistic. Then the new year rolls around, a fresh canvas for your annual performance art piece. The grand resetting of last year's unmet goals. You start with a burst of determination, a surge of motivation, and perhaps a generous dollop of delusion. You're a new you. This year, things will be different. You buy a fancy planner, maybe even subscribe to a new productivity app that promises to turn you into a lean, mean, goal-achieving machine. But before you know it, that old nemesis, procrastination, makes its grand re-entrance. It's like that one annoying relative who always shows up unannounced, helps themselves to your fridge, and subtly reminds you of all your past failures. You put things off for a bit, then a bit more, and then one day you look back and realize you're stuck. Trapped in an infinite loop. Laziness, procrastination, disappointment, and then the inevitable resetting of goals, all without the faintest clue how to escape this self-made prison of good intentions. You desperately want to break this cycle. You crave to conquer procrastination, to banish laziness, and finally to transform those magnificent ambitions into tangible reality. So, naturally, you do what any modern human would do. You dive headfirst into the internet's vast ocean of self-help content. Video after video, article after article, all promising the secret sauce. And mostly the advice you get sounds remarkably similar. Delete social media, eliminate distractions, plan meticulously, just be disciplined. And sure, these methods might offer a temporary reprieve, a fleeting moment of focused activity perhaps. But then, almost inevitably, you find yourself right back where you started, perhaps even more disillusioned, staring at your phone, wondering how you ended up on a video about competitive dog grooming when you were supposed to be finishing that report. It's like trying to fix a leaky dam with a thimble, a noble effort, but ultimately the underlying current remains. What's truly happening here, dear friend, isn't a moral failing or a unique genetic predisposition to couch potato dom. It's a fundamental principle, often overlooked but always at play. Inertia. In the glorious realm of physics, inertia is simply the tendency of an object to resist changes in its state of motion. If something is sitting still, it wants to keep sitting still. If something is moving, it wants to keep moving, unless acted upon by an external force. This isn't just for bowling balls or planets, folks. It's a profound truth that applies to you, your ambitions, and that perpetually unfinished to-do list. When you're caught in the throes of procrastination, you have an almost magnetic pull to continue procrastinating. You do nothing because the act of starting just feels overwhelmingly difficult. Like trying to push a fully loaded grocery cart up a very steep hill in the rain while wearing flip-flops. Instead of confronting the task at hand, that 5,000-word essay, that looming project proposal, that mountain of laundry that has now officially become an ecological biome, you gravitate towards the path of least resistance. You scroll through your phone, binge watch an entire season of a show about competitive baking, or dive into a video game world where your actions actually feel impactful and immediately rewarding. Anything, absolutely anything, to avoid the daunting responsibility that's whispering your name from across the room. But here's the colossal problem, the real kicker, the intellectual karate chop to your productivity. You are quite literally making that first step seem impossibly difficult in your own mind. You're building mental Mount Everest out of molehills. You think about writing a 5,000-word essay, and instantly it morphs into an unconquerable literary Everest. You want to start hitting the gym, but the mere thought of months of consistent, sweaty exertion sends shivers down your spine, making your couch seem like a much more appealing life partner. You dream of launching that startup, but the sheer mental catalog of everything that needs to be done, market research, business plans, funding, branding, learning to code, probably also figuring out how to make artisanal sourdough bread, because apparently that's what successful people do now, overwhelms you into complete paralysis. It's a classic case of cognitive overengineering, where your brain, in its infinite wisdom, convinces you that the effort required to start is equivalent to the effort required to finish. And because finishing something as monumental as launching a startup feels like an impossibility, your brain concludes that starting it is equally impossible, thus keeping you safely and lazily at rest. And so you continue to procrastinate, caught in this self-imposed inertia. The weight of inaction grows heavier with each passing day, pushing you deeper into the comfortable yet suffocating embrace of the status quo. But here's the silver lining, the plot twist that could change everything. If inertia is the problem, then it also contains the very blueprint for the solution. It's a double-edged sword, this physics concept, and if you can learn to wield it properly, you can turn your biggest foe into your most powerful ally. The good news? You don't need a seismic shift, a grand revelation, or a motivational montage with an epic soundtrack to make this happen. What you need is just a tiny nudge, a small, almost insignificant push, just enough to get you over that initial hump, that point of resistance, and into motion. And once you're moving, well, inertia will take care of the rest. It's time to learn how to break the spell. So, if inertia is the problem, then the undeniable, irrefutable solution is to simply break that inertia. It's not about finding some magical, mythical force. It's about a strategically applied, almost ridiculously small nudge. The fantastic news is that you don't need a monumental kick in the pants to do this. No need for a dramatic intervention or a sudden burst of superhuman willpower. All you really need is a gentle push, a soft tap, just enough to get you past that initial barrier of inaction. Think of it like a very stubborn, very cozy, but ultimately conquerable door. And there are two incredibly effective, almost cunningly simple ways to do this. Method 1. Drastically reduce the difficulty of the first step. Most people procrastinate because, quite frankly, they make things impossibly hard for themselves right from the get-go. When you tell yourself, I need to finish this 5,000-word essay, your brain, bless its overprotective cotton socks, hears a blaring alarm bell. Too big, too hard, postpone indefinitely. It's like trying to eat an entire elephant in one sitting. Your brain isn't stupid. It knows that's a recipe for digestive distress and existential dread. So instead of setting yourself up for failure with a gargantuan task, make it so ridiculously small, so ludicrously easy, that failure isn't even an option. It's almost an insult to your intelligence not to do it. For instance, instead of telling yourself you must write 5,000 words, whisper conspiratorially to your brain, hey, let's just write 50 words. Just 50. That's like 2 sentences, or one really long, grammatically questionable sentence. You can do that, right? You're not committing to the Everest. You're committing to tying your shoelaces at base camp. Similarly, don't tell yourself you have to study for 3 grueling hours. Instead, try, I just need to open the textbook and read 1 page. Just 1. If it's terrible, we can stop. Or for the fitness enthusiasts among us, ditch the idea of a punishing hour-long workout. Instead, declare, I'm just going to do 1 push-up. Yes, 1. Even if it's a sad, wobbly push-up that mostly involves my face touching the floor, it still counts. The magic here is almost comical. When the task becomes infinitesimally small and effortlessly easy, that initial resistance, that heavy cloak of dread, simply evaporates. It loses its power. And here's the kicker, the glorious psychological trick. Once you've started, once you've taken that initial micro step, you'll find yourself with a strange, almost irresistible urge to keep going. Why? Because you've just engaged the other side of inertia. You've gone from rest to motion, and now motion wants to continue motion. You're rolling, baby. Method 2. The 2-minute rule. This technique is a close cousin to reducing the first step, and it's equally, if not more, devious in its simplicity. The principle is elegantly straightforward. If you don't want to do something, tell yourself you only have to do it for 2 minutes. That's it. 120 glorious seconds. It's barely enough time to choose a filter for a selfie, let alone tackle a monumental task. Don't want to clean your room? Fine. Put on your favorite upbeat song, tidy for exactly 2 minutes, and then, if you truly want to, you can stop. Most likely, by the time the intro of the song is over and you've picked up 2 stray socks, you'll find yourself actually cleaning. Don't want to write that report? Set a timer for 2 minutes. Write anything that comes to mind, no matter how nonsensical or grammatically incorrect. Just get words on the page. When the timer buzzes, you can stop. But chances are you'll be in a flow, a rhythm, and those 2 minutes will have magically stretched into 10, then 20, then a full hour. Don't want to exercise? Just get into your workout clothes and do 2 minutes of jumping jacks or 1 single push-up as per method 1. The mental hurdle of starting. A workout is often far greater than the physical exertion itself. By tricking your brain into thinking it's just a 2-minute commitment, you sneak past its defenses. Most people, and this is where the genius of inertia comes into play, will not stop after 2 minutes. Why? Because an object in motion tends to stay in motion. You've pushed the ball up the initial slope, past the point of static inertia, and now it's rolling downhill, gaining momentum with delightful ease. That's why you need to keep that first step minuscule and effortless. Once you get the engine purring, you'll naturally want to continue without relying on brute willpower or the iron fist of self-discipline. It's like a secret cheat code for your brain. By implementing these 2 delightfully simple methods, you can shatter the shackles of inertia, conquer procrastination, and finally, truly, transform your ambitions into tangible reality. The secret to overcoming procrastination isn't just for work or studying. It's a universal master key that unlocks potential in every corner of your life. Struggling to hit the gym? Don't even think about a full hour-long session. Just put on your workout clothes and do 1 single solitary bicep curl. That's it. Feeling overwhelmed by that entrepreneurial venture idea? Forget drafting a perfect multi-page business plan. Just sit down and jot down 1 simple, potentially silly idea for 2 minutes. Want to improve your relationships with family or friends? Don't wait for the perfect moment or a grand gesture. Just send a quick 2-minute checking in text, even if it's just an emoji. Remember what the great Martin Luther King Jr. said? You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. Every colossal achievement, every groundbreaking innovation, every meaningful personal change begins with that one tiny, almost imperceptible step. Don't fall into the trap of thinking you need to accomplish everything in a single day. You just need to start. And if you can achieve that, the rest, propelled by the glorious force of inertia, will largely take care of itself. So, if you identify as an ambitious individual who, let's be honest, enjoys the occasional or perhaps frequent dalliance with strategic resting, here's your mantra. Procrastination isn't a sign of inherent laziness, it's the stubborn grip of inertia. An object at rest tends to stay at rest unless a force acts upon it. The trickiest part is always that initial push, that very first step. So make it as absurdly easy as humanly possible. Write 50 words instead of 5,000. Do 1 push-up instead of an hour-long workout. Commit for 2 minutes instead of worrying all day. Once you've broken free from the gravitational pull of inaction, Everything else will feel significantly lighter, significantly easier. And when you consistently apply this day in and day out, even if it's just a whisper of effort, you won't just be a procrastinator who occasionally gets things done. You will transform. You will become an action taker. You will achieve those goals that once seemed perpetually out of reach, and you will finally, genuinely, turn your magnificent ambitions into a living, breathing reality. So, what are you waiting for? Stop reading this and start right now.